There's an Easter egg in this video, and if you spot it, you're going to get a gold star. That's the best I can offer. He said, do you have somewhere you can do your follow-up in America? And I said, I live here. I live in Chiang Rai. I've had all my recent surgeries, plethora of them, 3 of them in the last week, here. But if I was really in a snarky mood, I'd have walked right out stark naked. Just to get the shock factor. Just say, I didn't even know you were in my room. But anyway. The doctor did say, you could do your follow-up. First of all, she said, do you have somewhere you can do your follow-up in America? And I said, I live here. I live in Chiang Rai. Okay? Oh, I thought you had to fly back to America. I said, no, I have to fly back to Chiang Rai. Oh. Well, is there somebody up there that you could see? You don't have to come down and see me. You can see another one. They'll get the records. I said, no, I'm coming here. I've had all my recent surgeries, plethora of them, 3 of them in the last week, here. Why do I want to see someone else that's not familiar with me? A, isn't drop dead gorgeous? B, right? Isn't real friendly? 3, okay? And I can come down and no surgery, for crying out loud. I can go see people, I can go eat, I can drink, I can do whatever, right? Walk on the beach, reminisce about how much I hated it here. No, I'm just kidding. I don't hate Pattaya, okay? But it did wear on me after 3 years, okay? It really did. Because it's I don't want to compare it to Vegas, because that's really it's like a slight, it's not, it doesn't compare. But I mean, Vegas, God, I don't want to offend anybody there either, but 3 days, I can handle 3 days in Las Vegas, doing the normal casino thing, buffet thing, all that shit, that's the stuff that you usually do. But if I go up to, I think it's called Red Rock Canyon, went hiking up there, that was a blast. And then when my uncle, actually my second cousin, but he's the same age as my dad, so I called him Uncle Richie. He lived in Pahrump, which is like an hour over the hump from Vegas City. I forget the Clark County, whatever county, I forget, whatever. But Pahrump, they have casinos and shit there and all that. And he did real estate. He had an office in Vegas and an office in Pahrump. He had a house, a beautiful house in a gated community in Vegas, and a condo in Pahrump, in case he didn't feel like going home. Or if he had different clients to meet or whatever. He actually had a Filipino wife. And after my aunt died, or my second cousin's wife died, 20 some years before that. So he wanted me to go to the Philippines with him. This is totally off the subject, and I was like, I'm busy. This is like 10 years ago or whatever. I was busy, but I wasn't that busy. But I was like, no, I'm going to end up getting in trouble, because he acts like a 20-year-old, or did. he's gone now, but what a character, man! My God, smart, intelligent, work-wise, business-wise, very successful, very successful. But I know, no freaking way am I going to fucking the Philippines with Richie. It's gonna be a 2-week bender, you know, and I'm just not cut out for that. You know, I'm not a what we call a 2-week millionaire, right? Here, when someone new comes, but those 2-week millionaires have turned into 30-day millionaires, and then they're extending. They come over young, like I did the first time, and they go. They're already thinking, I'm gonna retire. I wanna live there forever. You know what I mean? I came over, toured, saw the Himalayas. You know, the Himalayas. You know, awesome temples and stupas and things, and Burma. When I was there, it was Burma, and I will continue to call it Burma. And I've seen so many things, and I love to travel. I mean, it's good for my brain seeing that different stimuli coming in. But Pattaya became not overwhelming, but just like, You know what I'm saying? It's like going to Disneyland every day for a month. I mean, some people could do that. I can't. I couldn't do that. Absolutely no way. I forgot to write down the one that I'm transferring. Sorry. Excuse me. Okay. So, anyway, I don't know how the hell I got on Vegas, but so I moved. Simple. And I will move again. You've heard this. Most of you have heard this. When Dave was the first one, because I was talking to him years before I retired. Dave, gotta love Thailand, Dave. I said, yeah, I figure I'll come to Pattaya because A, that's where I know the most people whose judgment I trust, and that's where I had my business before, partners in the business, and so I'm familiar with it, so they can hold my hand through the immigration process and all this stuff, getting my, you know, it always helps to have somebody that's willing to assist you on stuff that you could do yourself, okay? I get questions all the time. What do you know, I get nebulous questions, right? Like, what's your favorite bar? I don't even think the city knows how many bars are here. I honestly don't believe they know. And, oh man, have you been to such and such? No. Wow, you've lived there that long, you haven't been there? Yeah, man, because I don't go bar hopping every freaking day, right? Not that anybody does that. That's their choice. They can do whatever the hell they want. It's not hurting me, right? As long as they don't jump on a bike or their car, if they have one, and go running somebody over, you know. Bolt, grab, duh, pennies on the dollar compared to America. So for me to get from Bangkok airport to here, which is roughly the same amount of time as it gets from SeaTac airport to my house, it's $175 from SeaTac Airport to my house in a private vehicle. I could do the milk run, the shuttle bus. It stops at various hotels on the east side, but then I still have to get from there to somewhere, or call somebody, and everyone I know is at work, right? It never fails, unless it's a weekend, but it's usually, for me it was Tuesdays and Thursdays when I flew. Those were usually the cheaper flights that time. Now I have no idea. But here it's 1,000 baht. Do the math. Less than 30 bucks. I mean, it's still 30 bucks. I could take a bus for 140, right? But I got to take the free transport from the airport to the bus station. Get on the bus. Get on the bus, Gus. Make new plans, Stan. Okay, and then go to Pattaya. Any number of bus stations here, right? There's a handful. Different companies have different bus schedules. And then you still got to get a car. It's just convenience, man. Why? Now, I'm retired. Time. Okay. Here's an analogy. I think in America, in particular, it should be compulsory for people after a certain age to own a small Honda Civic or a Honda Jazz or a tiny little roller skate car instead of driving a land yacht. Okay, I think it should be mandatory. You reach a certain age, you got to get out of that big ass car and you got to get in a little car, because all you are is a fucking danger to everybody. Okay, and why are you going so damn slow? Why don't you speed the hell up? Because you're out of fucking time. You should be hauling ass and breaking every speed limit. So I don't like to waste time. 30 bucks, 8 bucks. No. I'm at my hotel in an hour and a half, and I'm at this, it doesn't matter what time of day or night I get to this hotel, I am checked in. I don't have to wait till 2 p.m. or 3 now. Some parts of the country are changing it to 3 p.m. check-in, which really, when you get caught by that, you like, what the hell? How come I didn't get a memo? Anyway, I'm just babbling, blowing hot air right now. So anyway, I want to thank everybody for all their well wishes. I'll tell you what, a positive mental attitude, PMA back in the day, right? They used to preach that back in the 70s, I think. Same time when Iron Eyes Cody was doing his anti-litter commercials, right? The Native American crying, who was actually Italian, by the way. He was not Native American. Little trivia there for you. But no, I appreciate it. I appreciate the well wishes. Hey, you're looking good. Who doesn't like to hear that, right? But no, I am. My color's better. I'm not. I've got a different setup for my protective lenses, which I still have to wear. My covers, right? I call them my covers. Some of my buddies call them mini cups, like a sports cup, because they're kind of shaped the same. But I appreciate the well wishes and the, it's. I mean, a lot of times it's the same thing every day. Someone's saying, "Hey, I'm glad you're doing great." Right? It's redundancies, right? But just knowing that you guys is collective, everyone. Okay, it's not a man or woman. Guys, okay, the gang. Um, are there, maybe they're just pumping sunshine, but I don't believe so. I believe they're genuinely sincere when they say, man, I'm glad you're doing good. And a lot of people have opined, they've jumped right in and said, dude, I've had that surgery, or I've lost my eyesight and shit like that. Can I contact you and privately talk and things like that? I mean, and I've done that. They've reached out and I've accepted that, you know, request, for lack of a better word. I think that's probably the word. But another one just went through. Holy crap! I must be really fucking long video. God dang it! I bet you guys are getting tired of these part 1 and part 2 or part 1 through 4 crap. But this one, I guarantee I have to cut it in half because I'm already over 30 minutes, and I really haven't said 5% of what I really wanted to talk about. And what I really wanted to talk about, I already forgot. God dang, man. I'll tell you what. It's funny. I learn something every day in my chat comments. I mean, every day. Somebody will say something about, particularly recently, it's been my eye. But other times I'll learn something new on a short, on a video that I'm listening to, I'm not watching, okay? Because when I went to my follow-up today, I was like, man, I felt like I was taking an SAT or something. I thought, oh, I'm gonna do shitty. I'm gonna pooch this, because it felt hazy, foggy, you know, like when I take a nap and I wake up, it takes a while for my eyes to like get clear, you know, and clear enough to see the rain, right? But I was worried that I wasn't going to see 20/20, right? But no, I was able to read that right down to that red line, and both eyes. So I'm happy. Then they took a bunch of pictures. After that, I sat down and they dilated. They didn't have to dilate, but she wanted to dilate because she really wanted to get good images of the lens placement in both eyes. In particular, my one that had 2 surgeries, right? This one. So she said, I walked in the door. She said, "You're excellent." Before I spoke a word, I said, "Sawadee Cobb," and she said, "You're excellent." And I said, "I haven't even invited you out for dinner yet." She has a sense of humor too. Anyway, I wish her well in the future. But I said, no, I'm not going to no, I've had my service here and I'm coming back here. I trust you guys. I trust the service here. I said I've had my last 3 surgeries here, and then I said, well, actually I've had my last 3 surgeries with you. I've had my other 3 here. Pituitary tumor, out of pocket, baby. Pre-existing condition. My prostate, that was out of pocket, because I chose the you know, they want to give you the hamburger one, right? The cheapo one, and I'm like, no way. So I did the one, and it lasted, you know, like 18 months, and then I was back where to square one. So I elected for the HOLEP, you know, I forget what the name of that, something laser, whatever, HOLEP. You can look it up if you feel like it. But okay, in closing, there's an Easter egg in this video. If you tell me what it is, man, I will be impressed. All right, I appreciate every one of you watching, tuning in, even those that aren't subscribed. You know, YouTube sends me memos. You make sure you say like, subscribe and share, you know. And dude, everybody knows if they're gonna like something, they're gonna like it. They're gonna put a thumbs up, you know, or a thumbs down. Many people watch and don't do anything. They don't comment, they don't nothing. They're subscribed, so they get the memo, you know, the notification. But a lot of people have started commenting just since this eye injury, this eye saga, from when I originally injured it in Vietnam, through that surgery and the literally medieval torture I had to go through, face down for 4+ weeks. I not making light of it, but dude, I was getting cabin fever. I was getting freaking cagey, really cagey. You know, I barked more than soy dogs. Anyway, if a soy dog comes at you, don't turn your back on it. Stand your ground and keep pivoting your head, because one of his buddies or her buddies may be coming up behind you. That's the word for the day. And in memory of Bob Barker, spay and neuter your pets. I don't get any, you know, I'm not affiliated with the Humane Society. Sometimes I don't want to be affiliated with the Human Society, because there's a lot of nutcases that, hey, I just got a message from Nick. Right on. Right on. Back in the day, I used to say right arm, you know. Right arm, man, right arm. Okay, anyway, I appreciate you guys. Thanks for watching. It's a long video. I will cut it into 2 because it's freaking 40 minutes. Good Lord. All right. Thanks for watching. I really appreciate it. Bye.